one of the major foundations of the rugby world. Scotland, a member of Rugby's Six Nations. Visiting Scottish teams have always provided stiff opposition. Team Canada, though, looks forward to the challenge. Recovering from a tumultuous year, Canada wants to get on a roll as they prepare for the upcoming World Cup qualifying matches. Team Scotland could be just the right opponent. The two have matched up well in 3 friendlies this month. But the question today, is Team Canada ready for the test?
Team Canada Rugby on Sportsnet.
Welcome to beautiful and sunny British Columbia. We're in Vancouver for the international rugby matchup here on Rogers Sportsnet. It's the number 7 ranked team in the world, Scotland, set to take on Team Canada, who are currently ranked number 12. Welcome to Thunderbird Stadium, everyone, on the campus of UBC. I'm Kevin Quinn. We're in for a great matchup. This is the 4th of 6 games that the Scots will be playing as they tour North America. They've played Canada 3 previous times, various forms of Team Canada, and the Scots have come out with very good results, as they say. The most interesting result was June 8th. Closest to this test match we will see. Rugby Canada actually were tied 8-8 with the Scots at the half before Scotland ran away with it. Now, test matches, this is the first time in Canada that there's been an official test match. A great result for Canada back in 1991 as they actually beat the Scots. Unfortunately, it was an unofficial test match. Al Sharon is one of the guys who will lead Team Canada. He's the captain, and he'll be going for his 66th cap in international play, and he knows that it's going to be very tough to take on this Scottish side.
Scotland is a top 10 side, and Canada is a side that hasn't played Scotland really all that much. I think we've only played them in 4 test matches, and granted, our success rate hasn't been great. We played them to where we won out in Nova Scotia back in 1990, and that was a significant win in Canadian history because it was a good build-up towards the World Cup. We expect and we hope to do the same thing today.
Now let's meet the men who will call the game and who usually do well on the tests they have. We're talking about Craig McEwen and Gary Johnston.
Thank you very much, Kevin. It's been a tumultuous year for Canadian rugby, but obviously now that they've righted the ship, it looks like people are starting to focus, Gary, finally on the on-field issues as opposed to off the field. As a former national team member and coach, what does Canada have to do to be successful?
Well, Craig, I think the most important thing, Canada must look ahead to the future and not look back. They've just come back from a developmental tour of Australia, which they didn't do well. And last weekend, Canada fell apart in the second half against Scotland. This week, they've worked with David Cox, the local psychologist, and he's helped them focus on the future, focus on the now, and the now is today.
What else do they have to do?
Well, I think what they need to do is to reorganize their defense quickly. What happened, again, in Markham last week in Toronto, Canada, after any kind of breakdown, their defense was slow to organize. And Scotland took advantage of that, and they scored many tries against us.
Finally, the third key to this match?
Well, I think the third thing is they've got to watch their P's and Q's. They've got to stay out of the sin bin. We've got some tough, aggressive players like Danny Baugh, Ryan Banks, and Pat Dunkley, and they can't go to the sin bin for 10 minutes. In close games, they've got to stay on the field.
Obviously, Scotland will be looking for much the same as they had last weekend in Markham. For more on what they plan to do against Canada, here's headman Ian McGeechan.
Well, obviously, they'll have learnt a bit last week playing against us. They've had all week together, so you know, they'll be well prepared, and we're expecting to meet a well-prepared team. So we've worked hard this week on trying to continue the improvements in our game.
Lots more rugby action to come from beautiful Vancouver. The first half kickoff and the lineups coming up next here on Sportsnet.
Why is it so hard to save for a rainy day? Experts say we should all save at least 3 months' living expenses just in case, but most of us never do. Are we lazy? Undisciplined? No. So why is it so hard?
Because banks make it too hard.
If you don't have a big deposit, banks hardly give any interest.
How am I supposed to save?
Easy. Just call the number below and open an ING Direct Investment Savings account. You'll earn higher interest, more than 5 times higher than the average of major banks. And saving is easy. For example, if you save $25 a week, our automatic savings program could grow it to $1,343 in only 1 year. Your money is never locked in, there are no service charges, and you don't have to give up your regular bank.
To open an account or find out more, call now and save your money.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Pick up the DVD with extra special features. The blockbuster that captured 2 Academy Awards.
Let's go! Let's go!
Is the must-own DVD for your movie library.
We're going home!
Black Hawk Down. Buy it now on DVD.
Want to see a bright idea from Crest? It's new dual-action whitening. It not only helps remove stains with regular brushing, it also adds a protective layer that helps repel new stains. For a truly bright smile. New dual-action whitening from Crest.
And welcome back to Vancouver as we get set for international rugby here on Rogers Sportsnet. Right now, let's go upstairs and join Gary and Craig.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Not the most experienced Scottish side, Gary. They actually lost Martin Leslie to injury against Canada East, but they are happy to have Stuart Grimes playing despite a little knock he picked up in training.
Well, I think that's a big plus. We've heard that Stuart Grimes, the captain today, with 39 caps, was injured and wasn't unable to play. But now I see he's in the lineup, so we'll see how long he goes. We have 4 new caps. This is the first time they played for the country. Craig Smith, Rory Kerr, Andy Craig, and Michael Blair are all new caps. So Grimes' job will be to keep them calmed down. Also the job of Ian McKeegan, the well-respected, well-known coach and former captain of Scotland, British Lions coach, and British on 3 occasions, and British Lions player on 2 occasions. So this man knows his rugby.
Gary, obviously Canada has been really pushing hard for this match, this rematch, so to speak. What are they doing here?
Well, they're going to hit on this Scrum Master scrum machine, which is an invention of one of the Canadian players, Kevin Warchowski, just off to the right. He'll watch this hit, and there's his scrum machine moving around. There's Kevin moving around the screen. We've used that machine all week, and it's been very, very effective for us, and I hope our scrummaging will show that in the game today.
David Clark has made some changes from last weekend's game in Markham.
Right, there's 2 positional changes. Pat Dunkley, the most experienced hooker, comes in for number 2. And the winger from the Oak Bay Castaway Wanderers, Sean Foth, a try-scoring guy that does everything right, is in on the left wing for Canada. There are 2 positional shifts that David Clark, as we see the coach watching the team warm up, made John Cannon's move to the inside center position to try to stiffen the defense. And Jared Barker has taken over the kicking duties and position of Bobby Ross at the number 10 jersey.
David Clark and Canada looking to take on the Scots here at T-Bird Stadium. Lots more rugby coming up here on Rogers Sportsnet.
I just want to do it right today.
Pick up the Academy Award winner Black Hawk Down with extra special features.
Let's go! Let's go!
From Jerry Bruckheimer and Ridley Scott.
We're going home!
Black Hawk Down. Buy it now on DVD.
Back in 1820, Alexander Keith's draft wagon was a familiar sight in Halifax. It delivered the finest beer of the day, brewed slowly, carefully, taking the time to get it right. It was the toast of beer drinkers. More than 175 years later, we still brew Alexander Keith's beer his way, then deliver it to wherever fine beer is sold. Alexander Keith's India Pale Ale, brewed only in Nova Scotia. Those who like it a lot.
I'm home!
Hey, Dad, look! I'm helping Mom make KD.
Ah, great, son. Now maybe I won't eat you like I did your brothers and sisters.
Oh, now, Harold. Hey, Mom, what's this? Now, be careful with that, son.
Ah, this is just great.
Dear. Probably for the best anyways. Says here we'd have to boil the water.
On July 3rd, when the threat is out of this world, you've got to bring in some new recruits.
Listen, I need your help.
They're worms.
Once you go worm, that's what you'll yearn.
Ready, guys?
Lock and load, baby. Just going for the look.
Lose the suit.
Sure thing, partner.
Men in Black 2.
Warm guys, give me some cover fire.
Those guys can't move.
In theaters everywhere, July 3rd.
Will you please join me in standing for the playing of Flower of Scotland, piped by Brent Wilson. Will you please remain standing for the Canadian National Anthem performed by Gary Gillespie, lead singer of Faith and Desire, and afterwards for a special song for our team today. Draw your attention to your program inserts, where you'll find the lyrics to the new Canadian rugby anthem, Maple Leafs Forever. Let's show the audience across Canada on Sportsnet and live across the UK on Sky TV how the great fans in Vancouver support our national team.
We're Maple Leafs together, we come from far and wide. We're on the road to victory, you better step aside. The Maple Leaf is on our hearts, no matter where we fall. We'll rise again together and together give our all. Canada, our home and native land. On the field of battle, we prepare to make our stand. We will not fail, we will not fall, we give our all this day. Let's steal our hearts, let's keep the ball. For now it's time to play. Canada, our home and native land. On the field of battle, we prepare to make our stand. We will not fail, we will not fall, we give our all this day. Let's steal our hearts, let's keep the ball. For now it's time to play.
A brand new song, a brand new era for Canadian rugby here at Thunderbird Stadium. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to T-Bird Stadium. I'm Craig McEwen, along with Gary Johnston. And Gary, we should mention that Brent Wilson, the Flower of Scotland bagpiper, is actually the brother-in-law of Canadian flanker Ryan Banks.
Yes, that he is, and he played a beautiful Flower of Scotland, and Canada will come again today after losing to the Scots last week in Markham. If that song, new song for Canada, doesn't get your heart going, I don't know what will.
There's the look at your referees. Your referee is David McHugh from Ireland. You have an interesting story about him, but we'll maybe save that till after the opening kickoff, Gary. The first test on Canadian soil between these two countries, the second all-time, is underway. And it's Murphy with the early touch for Canada. Ball back. Canada finds touch. Gary, what can we look for from these guys right off the hopper?
Well, I think that Canada will endeavor to play in Scotland's half. And you saw they took the ball, fed it to power runner Philip Murphy off to Jared Barker, and he found touch. Now Canada will pressure Scotland's line out here, and will start to play rugby.
Bullock with the service. Nicely done by Scotland. Here come the Thistle. Good tackle there by John Cannon, a very hard man for Canada. The Scots still with possession. It's Craig Smith, one of the debutants in this Scottish side. Blair now feeds it out wide where Scotland's going to kick and finds touch. Winston Stanley can't get there.
Yeah, Scotland's played in all their games a very simple brand of rugby. They set up in the middle of the field to get the ball to one of their outside halves, who kicks a long diagonal to the corner. This is no surprise to Canada. First lineup for Canada. We've got to get our throws right. They've got to be precise. Mike James from Stade France takes the first ball for Canada.
Very nicely done there as Canada moves it. Morgan Williams in there looking for the ball. He gets it back up to Barker, who sends a high kick, won't find touch. Scotland pressing forward.
Penalty against on your feet, please. Telling players to stay on their feet and not go over the ball on the ground. Canada will kick the touch and then take the line out. Jared Barker, we should say, has replaced Bobby Ross, the number 10 jersey. He's a younger player than Bobby, one of the most experienced players in Canada. And Bob Ross on the bench if Jared has any jitters or any problems in that position.
A long list of good Canadian kickers he's filling in for there. There's Murphy with a nice take. Barker to Cannon. Here comes Danny Baugh.
Not coming. Going forward. Come Canada. Going forward.
Talk a bit about this guy, Dan Baugh. Obviously, he's coming off a bit of an injury, Gary.
Well, Danny Baugh plays professional rugby at Cardiff. He's the hitman for Canada. He'll take it forward. He's tough. He's hard.
Not ready.
You'll see Danny packing on the side of the scrum. He's the open side flanker. It's very important for him to get to the breakdowns as quickly as possible. You see the Canadian team is just a little under the weight of Scotland, but not significantly. The packs are even. The Scottish tight head has been called for slipping his bind and dropping his shoulder. The referee's a very experienced referee. He's been on the international panel for over 7 years. And Al Sharon has indicated that Jared Barker thinks he can make this kick from center. This is a 49-meter kick. And it would get Canada started in the right way.
Barker getting his 4th cap here this afternoon.
Now, actually, I'm a little surprised at this, and the kicker does know. He calls his range. I don't see a great deal of breeze. If it is coming, it's fair in Canada. But this is a long kick for Jared Barker. You know, 50 meters is a long kick. It's not a sitter. It's straight in front, and we'll see how he goes.
Looks like he has enough leg. Money. Jared Barker is on the money. Canada draws first blood. It's 3-0 for the home side.
Now, Jared Barker took an injury last year, but this kick makes it 16 out of 17 kicks for international as an international player. Jared's played 4 times for Canada, and he's only missed once. So he's off to a great start.
Hodge with the restart. High. Nicely taken there by Mike James. Good to have him in the Canadian lineup for David Clark. James pushes forward. The tireless worker Al Sharon pushing there too. Barker now out wide to Ryan Banks.
Stay on blue. Stay blue. Stay.
Canada looking pretty sharp here to start, Gary.
Well, we've got to a great start. We got Morgan on a rush. Nick Wachowski. Lots and lots of pressure on the Scots. Will come again.
As we mentioned off the top, this Scottish side has 4 uncapped players in the lineup, so there must be a few jitters for them.
Well, I'm sure they're nervous as well because it's very proud for them to represent their country as well, and that puts extra pressure on you. The Canadian team has no new caps. They've all played for their country.
We'd like to welcome those viewers joining us from the UK on Sky Television. A hello from Vancouver to you. There's Cannon, straight ahead running. Nicely done there. Al Sharon with the ball.
That's okay, that's out.
Referee McHugh says the ball was out. And he's awarded a penalty to Scotland.
David's going to have a chat. He's going to bring in one of the players and tell him exactly what he wants. Philip Murphy, professional player, Perpignan, France. And he's one of the power runners that Canada has as well. So Murphy gets his hands on the ball. Watch him go.
Gary, one of the things I think David Clark wanted to work on a little better was his lineouts from last weekend. Is that something that they focused a bit on in practice?
Well, both offensive and defensive lineouts. We'll see them pressuring the Scottish team, pressuring the thrower to get it right. Mike James is up early, and he's going to be, it's fine.
Stuart Grimes taking the ball there for Scotland as they push on. Controlling it nicely, keeping possession.
Scotland's trying to drive them all, and Canada will put them on the ground and then play defense. Here it comes.
Out comes the service down the line. That's Craig with his first touch in his first game from Scotland. Out it comes now with a man out wide. But Metcalf can't find the winger Patterson out wide, and Canada has stolen the ball.
The ball was out, was picked up by Canada, but it went forward. So it's a set scrum, Scotland's ball. The thing to watch is this, Craig, is to see if Canada can wheel the Scottish scrum. This would be a good time for a natural wheel between Rod Snow on the loosehead side goes forward, and Keel holds back, and they wheel the ball towards the camera, towards Morgan Williams. We'll see what's on.
Coach and hold, engage.
Blair with the put in.
Stay down.
And goes big number 8, John Petrie. But a nice tackle there by Danny Baugh. Hard as nails. Blair out wide. Hodge finds it out. And a kick through by Scotland. Nicely tidied up there, though.
To be a 20-meter dropout. Scotland has kicked the ball into the in-goal area. Freddie Aslin, the fastest man in the Canadian team, bolted for that one. But you see the Scotland has great pace as well, so it's good that Freddie's there. And he was covering from his opposite wing. Well done, Freddie.
Deep kick by Barker. Taken by Metcalf. It's out on the full.
Mistake by Glenn Metcalf, experienced player, very pacey, 25 caps for Scotland. He's kicked the ball straight out of bounds, so it's a line out back where he kicked the ball from. Canada's put in. This is Sean Foth. Did not play in Toronto. He's one of the positional changes.
Not a great service from Dunkley there. Scotland looks to find some space in the back. Nice kick there, quickly taken though. There's Aslin in a bit of trouble. Stanley's lost the ball, on goes the Scots. Chris Patterson with the try for Scotland. On a mistake there by Winston Stanley.
Scottish try scored by number 11, Chris Patterson.
What happens here is the Scotland stole the lineup ball. That's the first mistake. A beautiful kick. Goes quickly. Winston puts a quick ball into Freddie Aslin and tries to loop him around. A little bit of indecision there. All the Canadian players are in front of them. And Freddie tries to bail out by flipping the ball to Winston, and it goes to ground. Certainly a mistake by Canada. Nothing created by Scotland. Winston Stanley out of bounds, goes to the quick ball to Freddie, tries to run off him. They're not really sure what's happening. Freddie goes in and unloads to Winston, who mishandles the ball. There's nothing Canada can do at that stage.
Is that just the fact, Gary, of a little jitters for Canada, maybe trying to do too much too quick?
Well, I think Winston and Freddie both play on the Canada Sevens team, so they run off each other and they play off each other lots. So, no, they're experienced players. That was just, I think, a mental mistake as opposed to jitters.
Brendan Laney now. Straight through the uprights. Scotland
conversion by
has come back on Canada to take a 7-3 lead.
7, Canada 3.
Coach Ian McGeechan has to be happy with the way the Scots have responded to that early penalty by Jared Barker.
Well, I'm sure there'll be more than 7 points scored in this game for Scotland and more than 3 by Canada. So there's more points to come, and
Barker's kick is short, just making the 10-meter line. Nicely done. There's Williams going blindside. Looking for Banks.
It's another kickable penalty. Duncan Hodge, the fly for Scotland, has been called offside. And Jared Barker will sit up. This is a much easier kick than the first one. And let's hope he goes 16 for 17 as an international kicker. There's Morgan Williams. He threw the ball to the blind side to Ryan Banks, who wasn't expecting it.
And as we mentioned before, Barker with big boots to fill as Canadian kickers. We have a long line of great Canadian kickers. Wyatt, Reese.
Well, the last victory over Scotland in New Brunswick, it wasn't a full international, but it was Canada's best team. Mark Wyatt kicked all the points. 24 points, 8 kicks. It was a record in the world at that time. 8 consecutive kicks. And following Mark was Gareth Reese.
Young Barker is wide with that attempt.
Penalty kick is no good.
Tough for a young kid, Gary, if he gets his confidence down a little bit early.
Well, hopefully he'll be able to readjust, and I'll tell you a little bit about that later.
There's Cannon now with the ball for Canada. James busts through the line. Quickly up. Canada moving on, still on the attack. It's Sharon. Out it comes. Lovely little chip through. Cannon tries to get his own kick. Loses it. Gathered there by Patterson. Scots look for a little space behind. Aslan has the ball now. He dances right and then left. Blindside there by Morgan Williams. Trying to go that way. All that was waiting was a blue wall. Scottish players. Stanley now. A useful kick in behind the Scottish defense. Metcalf. And he'll clear his lines. From what you've seen, Gary, so far, better start than the one they had last weekend in Markham for Canada?
Well, I think both teams are making less mistakes, and both teams are showing the fact of being together one more week and working on some of the problems they had. So less mistakes at the beginning of the game, definitely a better start for both teams. This is Brendan Laney, the so-called kilted Kiwi, who played for Otago many times and has now played 6 times for Scotland because of his parentage. But he was a very famous player in New Zealand playing for Otago.
Chainsaw, his nickname.
Chainsaw. That's, I don't know why that is. What do you think? Maybe he cut some people down.
Dunkley now. Canada's lost another line out. Stolen by the Scots.
You've come in the side, 7. You've come in the side.
Call there, Gary. Canada coming in from the side.
Here's Pat Dunkley's throw. Scotland pressures the throw, and it's a little bit overthrown. It was to Al Sharon and not cleaned up in behind. So overthrown and no cleanup from Canada in behind.
Here comes the Scots again. Laney.
Scotland won their line out, and now they've got Canada under pressure, and they're in a kickable situation.
The big men powering forward for the Scots as they move on.
It's knocked on. It couldn't save it. 6 red, please.
This isn't the first time David McHugh has reffed Canada, is it, Gary?
No, David McHugh reffed an infamous game in the 1995 World Cup in South Africa when there was a huge brawl at the end of the game, which actually involved Winston Stanley and Rod Snow and a couple of South African players. They were sent from the game, and he was a very young David McHugh with a full head of hair. I actually went to a dinner last night honoring players from the past, and that vintage footage was in the presentation. So Ryan Banks has been talked to by referee Dave McHugh. Hopefully there'll be nothing of that sort in this game. And Brendan Laney comes to take a kick similar to Jared Barker's. We'll see if he has the leg.
Laney was voted man of the match in Scotland's 29-12 win against Italy in February 2002. The Scots came away with a record of 2 wins and 3 losses in Six Nations play this season.
You know, Laney made the move when it was obvious he wasn't going to the All Blacks and wasn't in their plans. So he wanted to play international rugby, so he used his parentage exemption to get into the Scottish side, and I'm sure Scotland's glad to have him.
And both kickers have now missed on 1 penalty attempt.
So you can see that you can't play rugby in your half if you make a mistake. Either kicker, that was long enough, it just wasn't accurate. Either kicker has a 50-meter boot.
Scots have another Kiwi in the lineup, Glenn Metcalf, and obviously are missing Martin Leslie. His brother John retired after the Wales game. Penetrating kick. Canada comes up with it. Williams out wide to Cannon. Looks like there's numbers out there. Lovely run as the Canadians pour forward. There's the support. Banks. Murphy. Murphy with a nice spin there as Canada continues to push for the line. Just outside the Scottish 22. A little sloppy there. Sharon gives to Baugh. Powering his way through. The Canada pack nicely. Morgan Williams with the chip. Aslin with the chase. But nicely taken by Blair.
Blair for his first cap. He had a good pass to play by Canada. He marked that ball. He called the word mark when he catched inside his 22. He has a free kick, and he'll go to touch, but it will be Canada's ball. He keeps it in bounds. Winston Stanley for the counterattack.
Here comes Stanley. Canada seeming to dance through some of the Scottish defenders.
Going forward, guys. You stay up, there won't be a problem. Sorry, we're not ready, we're not ready. Crouch and hold, engage.
Canadian scrummage just outside the Scottish 22. It's wheeled.
So Scotland's been penalized because the loose head went in sideways to Don Teal. Canada took a quick tap and away they go.
With a nice tap through, gives Metcalf trouble.
Stay on your feet.
Managed to keep the ball though for Scotland. Dangerous times here.
Dangerous times, exactly, Craig. And Scotland going off their feet to secure possession when they're under pressure from Canada.
Here comes the Canadians now.
Move away, tackler, move away.
Snow pushing. Williams. Looks to Dunkley.
Move away. Out half offside.
Williams now. Cannon.
Move away.
Canada's playing advantage right now. Nothing short of a try would be an advantage. Here it comes.
There's Snow, the big man, pushing for the line. He's not down yet. Murphy. Side
goes the hands up for Philip Murphy.
Canada has retaken the lead. Philip Murphy with his 4th try, his 10th cap for Canada.
Greg, that was certainly exciting. Here comes the replay. Canada digging the ball out of a ruck, driving ahead. Elstrom over top. Nick Wachowski in there. Here comes the snowman. Rod Snow from Newport, Wales, from St. John's, Newfoundland. Ball coming to Philip Murphy, Ontario player playing in France. And Philip drives hard for the line and gets over. That man has tremendous power, and it's very interesting. I said to Philip Morris before the game, you are going to score a try today, son. You're going to score a try. And he'll be just excited about that.
So Canada continues to answer back
Jared Barker.
here at T-Bird Stadium.
Canada 10, Scotland 7.
Just over 18 minutes left to go here in the first half. Canada leads this match 10-7.
When we trained in Ontario, we trained at Phillips Club, and they were all there to say hi to him and welcome him back. They haven't seen him for years, and he's led his province and his country today. Fantastic play.
Nice hands there by John Cannon. Snow pushes forward. Barker now inside his 22, and he finds touch. Nice kick there by Jared Barker.
Second. Remember to visit International Athletic, your BC Canterbury team dealer and official Rugby Canada outfitter. Located in the blue and white tent at the north end of the field for your shopping convenience.
Bullock.
Thank you, Padlo. This is a full lineup for Scotland, and they want the space. They want the space in the tunnel. It's got to be put down the middle. Watch the Canada jumpers going up. Look at Mike James at the front. Now they go over Mike and in front of Al.
Scots control as they push forward.
Don't come in the side.
Nice work there by the Scottish forwards, keeping it in possession, pushing forward.
Advantage.
And it's stolen by Canada. Pat Dunkley with the ball.
Sorry, couldn't play advantage because you went to ground. Bench is back here, knocked on. Canada scored. Couldn't play on because you went to ground from half.
What an interesting story there, Gary. Pat Dunkley.
Well, I was actually with Pat in Tonga when he got stomped by the Fijian and the terrible plane ride back and the infection and the flesh-eating disease, and he came back for it. He led Canada in Australia. A very, very good leader because he has great courage and great heart.
Scottish player down on the field. We're going to take a little time to pay some bills here. Canada leading 10-7.
Back in 1820, Alexander Keith's draft wagon was a familiar sight in Halifax. It delivered the finest beer of the day, brewed slowly, carefully, taking the time to get it right. It was the toast of beer drinkers. More than 175 years later, we still brew Alexander Keith's beer his way, then deliver it to wherever fine beer is sold. Alexander Keith's India Pale Ale, brewed only in Nova Scotia. Those who like it a lot.
Why is it so hard to save for a rainy day? Experts say we should all save at least 3 months' living expenses just in case, but most of us never do. Are we lazy? Undisciplined? No. So why is it so hard?
Because banks make it too hard.
If you don't have a big deposit, banks hardly give any interest.
How am I supposed to save?
Easy. Just call the number below and open an ING Direct investment savings account. You'll earn higher interest, more than 5 times higher than the average of major banks. And saving is easy. For example, if you save $25 a week, our automatic savings program could grow it to $1,343 in only 1 year. Your money is never locked in, there are no service charges, and you don't have to give up your regular bank. To open an account or find out more, call now and save your money.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Introducing an all-new Envoy, the XL. Adds a third row that's as comfortable as the front.
Welcome back to Thunderbird Stadium. Gary, a cap collection, if you will. Players who have played for their countries in international tests. And at the head of the list, Al Sharon.
Well, the first time you play for your country, get your cap, and at one time they used to present you with a little schoolboy's cap, rugby being from the public school system in England. where all the wealthy people used to go. They used to give them a cute little cap they used to wear, and actually they used to present those to rugby players at one time. L has his 66 cap today. He hasn't got 66 caps. I think he has his first one from his World Cup days. Standing next to Mike James, his partner. But did you notice that Canada had more caps on the field than Scotland? And that is very, very unusual.
Obviously, it was Scotland with 4 new caps here. John Petrie, the 8th man for Scotland, being attended to. He's back up on his feet. And we'll restart with 15 minutes to go here in the first half.
Let's go. Crouch and hold, please. When you're ready.
When they show that.
Williams with the foot in.
Hold on. I'm just about to say, you don't come in at that angle again, and you stay down. You don't come in at that angle. Crouch and hold, please, and engage.
What's McHugh saying there?
He wants the scrums to come in square. They've got to come in square. They can't come in at an angle, and the loose head is coming in at an angle. We've got the Welsh front row, you know. It's Rod Snow from Newport, Pat Dunkley from Swansea, and John Teal from Bridgend. And if they know anything about scrummaging, they know scrummaging in Wales. And Rod can hold his own against any player in the world. And having the Matty Stewart come in on an angle, Craig Smith coming at an angle against Rod Snow, Craig Smith with no caps at all. He's under pressure, so instead of scrummaging square, he's coming at an angle on Rod, trying to gain an advantage. Obviously, Mr. McHugh is not going to let him do that.
Jared Barker now with his 3rd attempt, 1 for 2 so far for Canada. Money in the bank again for Canada. 13-7. Canada leading here at T. Burton Stadium. Duncan Hodge with the restart, and I would say that Canada obviously happy with the way things have gone. We're going to head down to the sidelines for some more happy times, hopefully. Kevin Quinn standing by with former Canadian international Scott Stewart.
Absolutely, guys. And Scott, you played in 3 World Cups. You know what it's like to play against other countries. You got to be happy with what Canada's doing so far against Scotland.
Well, it's been a very good start. The guys are playing with a lot of commitment, and obviously the crowd is very enthused and supporting them well.
Now, you're not just here to watch the game. You're also part of organizing this, and it's great to have this much enthusiasm here in Vancouver for the sport of rugby.
Well, I think so. I think we've got a very strong fan base here in the Lower Mainland and all over the province, in fact. And it's a beautiful venue, and obviously the weather turned out well, and we want to see the guys do well. So it's been so far so good.
Now, you played in the World Cups, but you also played some rugby overseas. What was it like for you playing as a Canadian in England?
Well, I felt privileged to have given the opportunity to play as a professional and represent Canada. It happens every day of your life when you're over there. So it was a great opportunity and an opportunity to challenge myself to see how good I could be.
Now, comparing the games that you played, you've obviously with Canada, what do you think about the current program, the current team, and its chances as they try and qualify for the upcoming World Cup?
Well, qualification is always a difficult thing, but I mean, this is a group of young, strong, talented individuals that, given the right amount of time, can develop into the best that we possibly can. I think that Rugby Canada has done a good job in molding a team for the future, and these guys have the ability to do very well.
You retired recently. Watch them play. Do you feel like we're getting out there?
Well, I thought that perhaps I should be jogging out there, but next time we'll see how that goes.
Thanks for being with us. Let's go back upstairs.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Scotland on a bit of a counter here. It's Patterson. He has speed to burn. Can he get by Winston Stanley? The Scottish support is there. Nicely done by Canada. Here they come quickly back. Sean Fox. Very heads-up play, Gary.
Well, I want to say something about Sean Fox. He's not big. He's not fast. He's not quick. He's very smart. He makes very, very few mistakes. He makes his tackle. He's a big man in a little man's body, and you saw that he realized the ball was out. McHugh gave the signal. Sean came in from the wing, picked it up quickly.
Canada very lucky there too, because Scotland was really pressing
their goal line, but it's Sean Fox realizing what's happening, and The ball was out, picks it up in a very heads-up play.
Stay back, stay back.
Blair now with the high kick. Given by Aslan. Oh, Barker's kick is blocked.
Doesn't matter, it's onside. I don't know what the problem is.
Picked up by Dan Baugh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, this is it's a tough law because what we told the Canadian players, if the ball is touched, everyone is onside. But if it's touched within a meter, there we go. It's a charge down kick within a meter, and Danny Baugh just picked the ball up. So it is a correct call by David McHugh. You know, if you touch the ball and it goes 10 or 12 meters, then everyone is onside. But if you touch it within the first meter, then players are in an offside position. That's kind of a confusing law. I think they need to clean that up, so it's one way or the other. Obviously, Danny Baugh was confused.
Off the mark, please, Canada. Thank you.
Bullock now for Scotland. Looking for the back of the line out. Taken nicely there by Taylor. Taylor moving on.
Move away. Stay.
Scots deep inside Canada territory. Nice run there by Laney.
Hands away, Red. Hands. Advantage.
Referee playing advantage. It's Patterson coming to find the ball. Blair now to Smith. Good tackle there by Barker for Canada.
Hands up, please.
Now, at this point in the game, the Scots would probably take the 3 points, even though it will still put them behind Canada at 13-10. So there was a series of penalties there. And McHugh is going to tell them now to be careful not to infringe in the red zone. The guy shot at Rod Snow here. I don't think he was the person penalized. He's certainly working hard today.
Brendan Laney, 1 for 2 so far in the penalty department. But this looks like a pretty easy kick for Chainsaw.
This is a sitter. This is a sitter. 13-10. Canada gets the kick off. 10 minutes to go in the half.
It's through. You called it, Gary. 13-10 now for the home side over the visitors from Scotland. Few Scottish supporters here, no doubt.
Scotland 10.
A big crowd on hand at T-Bird Stadium. A beautiful sunny day, a beautiful day for rugby. I know last weekend maybe the Scots weren't so happy with the field, and Markham was a little hard, but the field looks in all right condition here, Gary.
Well, the field at Thunderbird Stadium is fast, but there's lots of patchy bits from what they're used to in Scotland. You know, in Scotland, the fields are probably much better quality than what they're used to today, but this is a fast field, and so it suits Canada very well.
Barker with the restart.
Over.
Oh. Taken nicely there by Grimes. Scotland tries the blind side. Not much room there.
It's in a rock, guys. It's in a rock.
Yeah, that's a rock ball. 2 men bound over the ball, and Mike James reached it with his hands and flipped it back. So Scotland will pin Canada inside their zone and get the line out.
No takeout there, guys.
So far, I think the referee has done a very, very good job controlling the game, and he has a nice manner about him, the way he talks to the players.
I'd like to remind you to drink responsibly, plan ahead, don't drink and drive.
Stand in, please. He's coming in, he's coming in, he's coming in.
Bullock with the line out. Stolen by Canada. Williams. Dunkley pushing forward.
Move away! Hands away, that's forward!
The Canadian big man pounding forward here, inch by inch, meter by meter. It's ball stolen by Scotland. Blair with a little kick into space, picked up by Foth, and he's wrestled to the ground and out of touch.
There's a little push in the back for the Scottish winger on Sean Foth. It's a little a little bit extra.
Rory Kerr, one of those debutantes for Scotland.
Yeah, he's about 6'2", and Sean Foth is about 5'8". There's a real mismatch in size there.
Bullock looking at the back of the lineup. It's Smith. It's a Scottish pack drive on inside the Canada 22. Laney with a nice pass there. Scotland continues to call. Blair tries the other side. He zigs, he zags, he dances into Canadian territory. And somehow Canada came up with that ball. Very nice kick for touch there.
That's Morgan Williams, another professional player who was been at Stade in Paris, Stade Francais in Paris, from Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. Canada players from all over the country. Wonderful kick for him. He's not in Stade next year. He's open to sign and speaking with many clubs, but he will be another professional player lost to Canada.
Bullock with a service to Grimes. Here comes Blair. Hodge, numbers out wide for Scotland if they can use them. It's Kerr.
Let it go, Seven. Let it go. Let's go. Let's go.
Back down the line this way. Hodge keeping the ball inside with the forwards. Now here it comes. Metcalf. Under 4 minutes to go here in the first half. Canada up 13-10 as the Scots surge on.
Don't play it, don't play it.
Not making up much ground, Gary, but keeping possession.
Right, we have to look at how quickly the Canadian backfield closes on the Scottish backfield. So watch how they come up in straight line defense. They can't give the Scots too much time. 1, 2.
Patterson flips it back inside to Smith. And the ball is picked up there by Williams. Mistake by the Scots. It's Murphy. Oh, there's a punch thrown there by John Petrie.
That's a little argy-bargy, as my old coach Don Burgess likes to say. Scottish guy on the wrong side of the Canadian ruck, and I think Pat Dunkley came in and just cleaned him out. Now, hopefully, that's not a penalty. Mitch McHugh's talking to Pat Dunkley. Pat is one of the three, I would say, the three danger players on the team that's very, very aggressive. And Petrie was on the wrong side. Canada had the call anyway, and Patrick just came in and took a shot in his back. Mark Lawrence from New Zealand's international panel, Irish referee, and a New Zealand and a Argentinian touch judge, Pablo De Luca. So the penalty, the knock-on's been changed to a penalty, and Mr. Laney will again try one from about 46 meters out.
John Tate, please report.
One of your keys to the game, obviously, was to stay away from that sort of stuff, and Canada losing out on that.
Right. I mean, Canada did have the call, and it was very tempting. As an old forward, it's very tempting to get your slams in. So you'll see Scotland during the game whacking guys in rucks by driving in. Rod Snow's done it for Canada a couple times. John Teal's done it. This time Patrick did it. Patrick Dunkley, the hooker, but it was after the whistle. So hopefully he won't be punished by 3 points.
Laney's boot is short. Picked up there by Murphy in a full gallop. Philip Murphy.
Stay on, Blue.
Moving forward, Barker mishandles there. Could be trouble. Nathan Hines busting through there for Scotland. The Scots have got possession. Here they come. Laney, far pass out wide to Patterson. He slips on the turf. Scotland still with possession. Nice dummy right there by Hodge. The Scots pushing for the line. Trouble here for Canada.
It's called John Cannon for being in an offside position. Again, he's warned Canada a couple times inside laws are different inside the 22-meter line, and if they think they're doing something to stop the try from being scored, it could be a yellow card. It's a professional foul. This is what happened. Here they go, a stolen ball by Scotland, moved the ball quick to the outside. Laney throws a huge wishful pass. Left winger, Chris Patterson, a great stepper off his left foot. Ball's handled, pressure the line. Freddie Asen comes in off his winger. Al Sharon is there. Now he's going to send Al Sharon the bin for, I don't know what I know what he's called, but I don't know what Al did. Al from slowing the ball down from coming out.
Scottish push towards pay dirt. They move in. Try for Scotland.
So at 38 minutes, Scotland has scored the go-ahead try. Al Sharon was in the sin bin. He's with the fourth official, and he'll sit out 10 minutes of this game, not including halftime.
Michael Blair with the try for Scotland in his debut. He scored a try last weekend in Markham. That one, from what I understand, was a long run. This one a short one, but very nicely done there.
He's a talented young player. Here's the driving maul. Scotland stole the ball from Canada. They drive ahead. Ball's produced. Drive over, and I can't see it, but Mr. McHugh can. His hand goes up right away. Try for the scrum half, Michael Blair. 15-13 to Scotland. Kick to come.
Laney with the convert. And he's pushed that one wide. The former Otago Highlander obviously would like to have that back. Your score at the break, 15-13 for Scotland. Let's go downstairs now to our sideline guy, Kevin Quinn.
All right, thanks very much. Here with John Tate. And John, if something a little more important than rugby going on in your life right now that's preventing you from playing in this game.
Yeah, I just had a baby girl about a month ago back in Wales, so I wasn't able to travel over to the team, but it's been pretty good, and luckily enough I was here for the game today to watch anyway.
Let's get your thoughts on the first half so far. How do you think the guys have been doing?
I think the guys have been doing really well, especially up front. I think they've more than matched the Scottish forwards. In the backs today, it's been pretty good too. Guys looking for breaks and offloading and stuff, and getting beyond the tackle line, which has been really good for us.
Now you're going to be back for the qualifying matches in a couple of weeks, starting with the U.S. in Markham. What do you expect there?
Well, if we can build on a performance like this, it's only one half and we have another half to go, and the whole reason we played these games is to get ready for the World Cup qualifiers, which are the important games. And I think we're well on the way to qualifying #1 in our group, hopefully, and beating the States.
Well, congratulations on your new arrival, and good luck in the test match.
Thanks very much.
All right, that's John Tate. At the half, it is Scotland on top by 2. We've got more rugby coming up here on Rogers Sportsnet.
New Cascade scent expressions are heat activated to release a fresh aroma into the air while doing the dishes. It can make your kitchen quite inviting. Scent expressions, new from Cascade.
When it's hot outside, North Americans love to cool down and refresh themselves by taking the Nestea plunge. But what about places where there is no Nestea? Places like here in Upper Mongolia, Uganda, Scotland, Micronesia. Most of Switzerland does have Nestea, but not here in particular.
Nestea. Take the plunge.
How would you like to win $100,000 or other cash prizes from CIBC? Lord? The more you save in your CIBC personal account between June 1st and July 31st, the more chances you'll have to win during the CIBC Stash Your Cash and Win event. Other ways to enter include opening a CIBC Wave account. Great for everyday banking. Enter today to win with CIBC.
New Cascade scent expressions are heat activated to release a fresh aroma into the air while doing the dishes. It can make your kitchen quite inviting. Scent expressions, new from Cascade.
A beautiful sunny day here in Vancouver. International rugby action between Scotland and Canada. And the score at halftime, the Scots leading by 2. Plenty of changes for Rugby Canada. Gareth Rees is now the chief executive officer for the team. He, of course, one of the most decorated Canadian players. He was a captain. He's been to 3 World Cups. And he is the guy in charge of turning the ship around. But Rees says, hey, it all starts with the players.
They've brought about change with their actions that people have been talking about for a decade, you know, and I know that because I've been involved in that. They've made a stance, and it was a change that needed to be made. They were supported by the Canadian rugby community, and we're moving forward. But part of that is they've got to produce on the field, and they will. But it's just a tough situation for good professionals right now. But I'm hoping, you know, that it'll come right, and really they put. When they put that jersey on, it just takes over, and they'll play.
With new leadership in place, Rugby Canada's first priority will be making its sport more popular in its own country.
I think we need to rebrand ourselves across the board. Obviously, our rugby public are very passionate and very committed to what we're doing. We need to make it easy for them to follow what the guys are doing, read about them, pick up their stories on the internet, and hopefully have a successful product on the field. Other than that, we need the non-rugby people. We need to tell them our story. It's a good story. It's a bunch of proud Canadians playing for each other, playing a very physical, very tough game. And I think if we tell that story properly and we get ourselves out there, you know, non-rugby people at the moment will come on board and they'll like it. And they'll like to see people wearing Maple Leafs smacking into people wearing thistles or any other world emblem and doing well.
Today's test match aside, Team Canada's efforts this summer will be on qualifying for the 2003 World Cup of Rugby in Australia, a task that won't be easy.
Yeah, for those people watching World Cup soccer now, they know how important it is to be in a tough or an easy group, you know. There's teams heading home, Argentina for one, who were in probably the toughest group of the competition. That's kind of what we're going to establish in the next 2 months in Canada and in the States. That if we can beat the States and we can beat Chile and Uruguay, then we'll be much better placed to do well in the World Championships. That's our goal. It's very important that we perform well today so that we can go forward and do that. But we at least control our own destiny, and that's what the guys have got to do.
Well, as you can see, Gareth Rees is more than qualified to be part of the management team of Rugby Canada. He did it on the field, 55 caps in all. He was one of the players honored earlier in the week, one of 6 players with over 50 caps in representing Canada. And Canada right now in a battle with Scotland. They're down by 2 at the half. You're watching International Rugby here on Rogers Sportsnet.
They're all so beautiful.
Oh, what about that one back there?
Oh, it's stunning.
Could we look at that one, please?
I love it.
We'll take 2.
Ah, there's nothing like fresh strawberries, like the plump, red, juicy ones on our Tim Hortons strawberry tart. Or try our new strawberry sensation muffin. Which strawberry will you pick?
With the versatility of a Chevrolet Venture, your family will not only do more together, they'll do it more easily. Drive away without paying. 0 down, 0 deposit, 0 first payment. Chevrolet Venture.
How would you like to win $100,000 or other cash prizes from CIBC?
Lord?
The more you save in your CIBC personal account between June 1st and July 31st, the more chances you'll have to win during the CIBC Stash Your Cash and Win event. Other ways to enter include opening a CIBC Wave account. Great for everyday banking. Enter today to win with CIBC.
Everybody listen, I know you're all here to return your satellite dishes. If you're returning your dish because you don't get local programming, your line is here.
Service and installation was too expensive.
I found out I needed a separate receiver for each set.
If you're here because you think programming is too expensive, please step into this line.
Excuse me, I just think that satellite TV is too complicated. I want my cable back.
Okay, new line.
If you're thinking about satellite TV, you might want to think twice. Cable TV, the best value in home entertainment.
As the lead athlete representing Canada. We've got two representatives here today. I'd like you all to put your hands
Welcome back as we take a look at beautiful Stanley Park here in Vancouver. We're at Thunderbird Stadium, which is on the campus of the University of British Columbia. Halftime right now with Scotland ahead 15-13 is the score. An outstanding first half for Canada. Guys are back on the pitch. Well, let's go upstairs for highlights.
You see Jared Barker banging a 50-meter for the first score for Canada. 3-0 Canada.
Scotland would answer back, though. A little bit of a mistake, a miscue there by Winston Stanley. Chris Patterson, this maybe not his prettiest try. He scored against Wales in 2001. It was a beautiful run from halfway, but he got the job done there for the Scots.
And then Canada will come again. Scrum half, Morgan Williams giving to the snowman. Rod Snow driving ahead, shaking off 2 or 3 tacklers. Ball comes out to Philip Murphy, who runs with power and straight for the line, drives and gets the ball on the line, which of course is a try for Canada.
Jared Barker would kick another penalty to put Canada up 13-7, and things were looking good for the home side.
Yeah, and then the driving ball, scrum half Michael Blair going for his first cap, somehow gets that ball and goes through the big men to get over the line himself to score the second try for Canada. For Scotland, sorry.
Your score at the half is 15-13 for the Scots. Lots more rugby to come from T-Bird Stadium. Please do stick around here on Rogers Sportsnet.
Did you know a cracked or broken windshield compromises your vehicle structure and the effectiveness of your airbag? Not to mention your family's safety. Just one more reason to bring it to the experts.
In the battle against athlete's foot, you gotta have, boom, tough-actin Tenactin. In pump spray, Tenactin's clinically proven active ingredient effectively relieves the itching, burning, and cracking of athlete's foot. It's even tough enough to prevent recurrent athlete's foot. Get boom, tough-actin Tenactin.
It's the Coke auction. Drink Coke, collect Coke credits, then bid online and you can win the experience of a lifetime.
I'm home!
Hey, Dad, look! I'm helping Mom make KD.
Ah, great, son. Now maybe I won't eat you like I did your brothers and sisters.
Oh, now, Harold.
Hey, Mom, what's this?
Now, be careful with that, son.
Ah, this is just great.
Probably for the best anyways. Says here we'd have to boil the water.
Seen any aliens lately?
This summer, the event they don't want you to remember.
Hopefully you enjoyed our new, smaller, more energy-efficient subway cars.
Will be the movie you'll never forget.
What do we got? Big Bad Mojo.
From director Barry Sonnenfeld.
Gang, how you doing?
Tommy Lee Jones. Will Smith. Men in Black 2.
You're getting big. Boy, what you been eating?
In theaters July 3rd.
The second half is underway.
Welcome back to T-Bird Stadium. The second half underway here. Scotland up by 2, and they receive it. Hodge not going to find touch. Winston Stanley. Stanley with the up and under. Not very tidy there, but the Scots still hold on. Hodge out wide. Metcalf looking for some help outside. Not a lot of support there. Good tackle by Metcalf, following up the ball for Scotland. The Scottish have it. Hines. Out it comes. Bullock throws out wide. Good little jink there by Kerr. The Scots looking for the early try here to start the second half. Hodge with the long searching pass. That holds up. Metcalf with a little dance, getting dangerously close to the Canada line.
Move away, tackler!
Couple of players down on the field as play continues. Blair now. Back inside to Laney. Nicely done there. The Scots close as they push for the line. Scotland has scored again as they come out in a flurry here to start the second half.
Well, that's exactly what Canada did not want. There's a Scottish player injured right now that's being attended to by the physios. But the reason they came out early, the reason they sparked up to get things going is in Toronto they went to sleep in the second half, and Canada was determined not to do this in this game, so they changed their preparation. I figure this is why they call him Chainsaw, not because he cuts people down, but he cuts through people. I've got it now, and that's exactly what he did. That's what the Chainsaw did. He cut through people, fall close to the line. It's an automatic play. They'll pick it up here. Three guys bind on the Scottish player and drive him over the line. That was just too easy.
Simon Taylor with the try for Scotland. Taylor's 12th cap for his home country.
Simon Taylor was a British Lion. That's a great honor to play for the British Lions, and he was selected from Scotland to play for that team. He scored a try in his first game in Australia in Perth, where they won by over 100 points against Western Australia, and then he got injured and went home. So he's a young up-and-coming player.
Laney now with the convert. Not his best day kicking. He's already missed one conversion. You can make that two. 20-13 for the visitors.
Well, that keeps Canada in the game.
Score remains. Scotland
the stats for the first half, Canada controlled the ball. The most significant thing here is that Canada took the ball into 34 ruck to maul, fluked 31 times. That's not bad. Scrummaging was solid. Lost 2 lineouts. They took 8 penalties. They've got to reduce the penalty count in the second half, but they had the ball for long periods of time. That's a very big positive. They had the ball more than Scotland had the ball. That's definitely a positive. But they're down 20-13.
On the restart now. Grimes can't control. Canada steals. Looking to answer back the Scottish try. Straight ahead goes Banks.
Advantage is over.
Foth out to Barker, who can't control the knock on.
Let it go, Red.
McHugh playing advantage here.
Stay on. Point back.
Scots keep pushing on forward.
Move away, tackler.
With numbers out wide. Here comes the Scots again. There could be some more trouble here for Canada. As the forwards keep pushing forward.
Hands away, Red. Stay, Red.
Laney now kicking behind Winston Stanley, who's just going to clear his lines, but that's not a very good kick.
Stay on, not back.
Laney again. Blair. Oh, there's a high hit. Rod Snow with the straight arm. Another big hit by Canada. And what's the call here, Jono?
Well, what's happened is this Rod Snow came in and took a man above the shoulders. The man was ducking and weaving, but you can't contact a player above the shoulders, and that's dangerous play. So Colin Ukes is coming in as a substitute player. I don't know who's coming off. It could be Danny Baugh. We'll know in a second. But it's a dangerous tackle. There's no penalty for a high tackle in rugby. You can tackle a man in the chest. It's a good tackle. But if you get above the shoulders, it's a dangerous tackle. And that's what Rod Snow's been called for. Philip Murphy's coming off, which means Ryan Banks would go to number 8, Philip Murphy's position, and Colin Ukes would play blindside flanker.
When we take a look at the hit here, Gary.
Well, you see Canada's scrambling, Scotland is attacking. Rod Snow goes up, you see above the shoulder, catches him, and down he goes. That's a penalty for sure. And Rod knows it, and the referee knows it, and certainly the Scotsmen know it. So Laney will attempt to improve his kicking average.
Michael Blair, I'm sure, thought that Snow was supposed to be fluffy and white, and that wasn't very soft, was it? There was a nice little tap there to his head.
The Snowman is a hard player. He plays that way in Wales, he played that way in Newfoundland, and he plays that way in Canada.
Laney now. And that one is good for Chainsaw.
Penalty attempt by number 12, Brendan Laney.
Laney playing out of position again, starting at inside center. He's normally a wing or a fullback for Scotland if they have their top side here. 7 players left behind by Ian McGeechan for the Scots for this tour of Canada. And right now, his young side has a 23-13 lead over Canada. Barker with the restart. Ball bounces there. Hodge with a dangerous flip pass back. If Canada can steal it here, Scotland would be in trouble.
Rod Snow's been ignited for that call. He made that great tackle, open field tackle, that forced this mistake. You know, the one thing we have not seen Winston Stanley, Canada's top try scorer in the wing position, but he's at fullback today. He'll light up the field with some of his lightning runs, and hopefully that will happen in the second half. Pat Dunkley taking control of the lineouts here, right on the 22-meter line of Scotland.
Stand up, please. Thank you. Stay out, people. Stay out. Put it up.
Dunkley looking for James, nicely taken. Snow pushes forward. Dunkley with it. Baugh showing the ball for Williams, but he urges his path forward. This is better work for Canada.
There's a professional foul there. Mr. McHugh had his back turned. He should get some help for his touch judge. He got some. That was Mr. McHugh had his back turned, and the touch judge made the call from the sidelines. You know, 2 tries for Scotland were scored the very, very same way, with driving mauls and places slicing through, and that's what Canada was attempting to do for the driving lineout.
Nathan Hines, born in Australia, but his granddad is Scottish. That's how he gets to play for the Thistle Warriors. Penalty to Canada.
Jared Barker has opted for the lineout in the corner. It's a 5-meter lineout. We'll see Canada probably go to the end of the lineout and try to wind around the back with Rod Snow and Al Sharon in the front. No, they go short, and they go for the drive.
Here they come, Canada pushing there. Scottish defense standing them up nicely. Canada wheels it back into play as they push toward Pater. There it goes out wide. Barker now. Little dummy to Cannon. Morgan Williams with the ball on the ground.
So you watch the Scottish players pulling the Canadian guys, delaying the ball, make a nice and slow ball instead of fastball. There's Winston Stanley.
Winston Stanley in to join the attack. Williams now finds ball. Barker's going to try the drop goal.
It's wide to the right. Canada still has good field position, but they come out with nothing. He was perfectly situated for that drop kick. Looking for a replacement player to come in. Donnie McFadden is coming in, and we'll see who he's replacing. This was perfectly set up. Jared was right behind the ruck. Morgan mishandles the ball a little bit and comes back for the drop kick, and struck okay, but to the right of the post. Not a bad idea, but not good execution.
I'm a little surprised, Gary. Did you think they would continue to run with it? They seem to be having a bit of success there, Canada.
I think they did. You know, you saw how Scotland scored their tries. They weren't very pretty, but they just kept grinding it out.
Donnie McFadden comes on for number 8, John Petrie.
We have a substitution now for Scotland. Donnie McFadden in for John Petrie.
Wait. No seconds, right?
You can purchase your
John Petrie was put in. He was put on his butt by Patrick Dunkley during the game, and that hit probably took its toll. He's now left the game and replaced by Donnie McFadden, who normally plays a flanker. See, there's the ball right there. It's now out.
Sharon with the ball. He's been silent the last little while. Williams with the pass out to Barker. Back inside.
Snow will take it straight ahead, you know that.
Snow going nowhere but forward as Canada looks to get back into this match. The Scottish defense, though, equal to the task right at this moment. Winston Stanley.
No, I think that's a very good kick.
Opposite
Yes.
number, Metcalf. Got him going the other way.
Canada must organize a counterattack.
Here they come. Clark's Crusaders desperate for a score to somehow get back into this game. Nice break to the line there by Witkowski. As Canada continues to control play, Scotland opened up with that quick try to start the half, but it's been all Canada since.
Mike James leading from the front. We haven't seen Mike in 4 years. He was a young boy in Burnaby when he left, and a professional player in France. He's probably Canada's higher, I don't know the contracts, but he's probably Canada's highest paid professional. And it's great to have him back. He showed great leadership throughout the week, and he's added some things to the team, definitely.
Kevin Quinn standing by, down with another player who makes his living in France. Kevin?
Philip Murphy is here, and we've got a shot of your injured leg. First of all, let's get an update on your condition.
Well, I felt something go in my lower calf, and we had tried to look at it at halftime, and I tried running it off, and it wasn't going. It wasn't letting go. I was hurting the team out there. I wasn't able to be at 100%.
All right, tell us about this game. You played in the game in Fletcher's Field. How does this game compare to that?
Well, we've tried to get a better defense, which we have done. We have a straighter line on defense. In Fletcher's Field, we had people who would shoot up and others who would stay back, and that created spaces. This game, we're trying to get a straighter line defense, and so far it's been doing all right. It's our own faults, it's our own penalties that are killing us here.
All right, get better, and good luck.
All right, thanks very much.
All right, let's go back upstairs, guys.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Jared Barker now with the penalty attempt. Barker bang on as he pulls Canada within a converted try. Nice to see Barker answer after missing that drop goal.
Well,
Gary.
Canada needed that, and Jared needed that for his confidence. But these kickers, it's amazing the way they can refocus. If they make a mistake, they refocus and go on. So he's still got it.
Scotland with the restart, nicely taken there by Grimes.
Come half knock it on. Come half knock it on. Sure.
Stuart Grimes, Gary. Obviously, there was some talk beforehand that he wasn't going to play at a bad ankle, but you can't notice it.
Right. I think that McGeechan had gone through so many of his players that it was important for his leadership on the field for Stuart to stay there, and I'm surprised that he's lasted so long because he really was banged up earlier in the week. So the 39 cap veteran, he's playing well for Scotland, and hopefully he'll last the full game. Receiving some attention now.
Scotland obviously is qualified for the World Cup. They're in a group with France. Canada's task a little tougher. They're hoping to qualify first in their Americas group, so they get a little bit easier ride down under in Australia. If we take a look at it, here's our upcoming schedule for Canada, Gary.
Well, these are the most important games for Canada. This international is super important, of course, but not as important as the first game in Markham against the United States. Scotland will play the United States next week in San Francisco, and then go to Markham, and Canada will go to Markham, and there will be the most important match, the qualifying game, June the 29th in Markham. If we can win that one, and then the winning one in Chicago, hopefully Uruguay and Chile will take care of themselves.
As you just saw, you can catch it right here on Rogers Sportsnet, your home of rugby in Canada. Scots now with the ball, a drop goal by Laney. And that attempt goes wanting.
Now, the only reason I think he did that is because he was on advantage, but it looks like McHugh's taking the advantage away from him.
Number 19.
I think there was an advantage. There was an advantage to Scotland, and
David Clark looking on there anxiously. Gary, his record with Canada: 5 wins, 9 losses, and a draw. He's obviously liked the way they've answered back from that try.
Move away, Hooker.
But there's still lots of work to be done for Canada.
Well, I'd like to see Canada cross the center line. There's a long kick by Freddie Aslan. That's good, and some pressure from the fastest man on the Canadian team coming into the camera now.
Very well done there. He turned Metcalf, and on comes Canada. The support is there as Scotland clears in desperation.
Now Winston Stanley, the momentum is shifted to Canada from Scotland.
The Scots keep the ball in play. Dropped there by Hodge. A little sloppy, but he finds touch.
Now, Colin Hughes has been running around the field. He was the replacement for Philip Murphy. Colin Hughes played in a game on Tuesday in Victoria, and none of these Scottish players played in that game, by the way. This is their first team playing against Canada, and Colin came into the side as a replacement player when one of the Canadian players got injured. So this is a big moment for Colin Hughes coming into the Canadian team. I believe he has one cap that he got last year in Japan. So the long-haired guy at the back of the line, he looks like a bit of a surfer, but he's all over the field for Canada. Big moment for him.
Dunkley goes to the back line out. There is Hughes grabbing the ball nicely. Sharon keeps it. Canada pushes on.
Stay blue.
Good service out. Lovely pass back inside. It's Cannon. And there's the drive.
Move away, blue.
Williams tries the blind side. That ball was lost by Banks, but picked up nicely. Here's Snow. Snow. Punishing runner, just drives straight ahead. Banks again now. Flips the ball. And knock on for Canada.
No, he wasn't offside.
See, that's what Canada wants to do. They want to hold on to the ball for long periods of time, recycling. Ryan Banks took a hit. The ball didn't go forward. It bounced out, and Pat Duncan was there to pick it up. And then he took it forward. And then Rod Snow, of course, takes it, and he only knows one way to go, and that went forward. But on the subsequent passes, the ball did go forward from Ryan Banks. So it's a set from Scotland, and they're able to here they go. It bangs out, but doesn't go forward, so Pat Dunkley gets it. He drives ahead. This is the kind of play I like to see the Canadian forwards do. Just hard, simple, basic. Take the Scottish guys on.
Banks, a former football player up at SFU here in Vancouver, Simon Fraser University.
He's the only non-professional player, even though he did play professional rugby in Bedford. He plays for Burnaby Lake right now in Vancouver, but the only non-professional in the whole pack.
Blair with the put-in scrum, Scotland. Good push, though, from the Canada pack. Scotland clears the lines. Winston Stanley will take the ball. Stanley with the up and under. Very nicely done.
Well, I think that was a bit of luck there. I'm still waiting for Winston Stanley to run with the ball. And hopefully we'll see this in the game. He puts the high kick up, he's putting pressure on, and he got the fortuitous bounce.
Free in.
Bullock now with the service for Scotland. Grimes wins that nicely. Blair.
Move away, tackler.
Here comes Scotland.
Hands off.
Blair digging for the ball. He gets it out. It's Hodge. trying to break the Canadian defense, but nicely tackled there by the centers. Canada's midfield playing well here. But Scotland has numbers out wide if they can use them. Donnie McFadden getting in there, the substitute for Scotland, making his first cap. Taken to ground by James for Canada.
We've got a turnover here.
Cannon with it.
Move away, tackler, Blue.
Williams. Taken by Metcalf with the mark.
Ball is marked, ends the play. Kick was too far and no pressure on the kick. It's just simply a change of possession to Scotland. John Cannon made a big tackle earlier on the game. He's playing inside center. As usual position is outside center, but he's there to close the gaps and make the big hits.
Ryan Banks down on the field right now as play continues. Here comes Snow, full head of speed. Snow pushing forward.
That's okay.
Foth now. If he can find a way to get by, he has a little bit of room, and he does just that. Baugh pushes forward.
Advantage! Advantage! Slade coming back, Scotland. Slade coming back.
Scotland players coming into the tackle from the offside position. This is the kind of refereeing we did not have last week in Toronto. This is much sharper and better interpretation of the law. Jared Barker going to touch. There goes Sean Foth, dipsy-doodling, dipping under. Found a little hole for a little man. Danny Baugh uses the power and strength. You know which way Danny's going. Puts the ball back, and the Scottish players coming in from the side. Canada kick the touch, and Canada line out. This is the kind of line-up ball they must win.
Dunkley with a service to the back. There's Ukes making a name for himself. Barker to Cannon. Cannon nicely through. Back to Barker. Barker pins his ears back and goes forward. Picked up there by Banks. Canada moving on. Scotland in a bit of trouble here as Canada pushes for the line. Picked up there. John Teal in. Try Canada. Very nicely done by John Teal, his second try for the Maple Leafs.
This is the old-time Canadian rugby smash and grab, pick it up, go straight ahead. The boy from White Rock, the boy from Semi, now professional bridge end, scores a try for Canada right at the post. Driving ahead play, started with Jared Barker. Pressure's on, Johnny Teal in the back. They missed the tackle, Scotland missed the tackle, he's not held. So he goes, touches the ball at the base of the post, which is a try. Here's a very close-up, John Teal.
Sheer determination here, Gary. Just wouldn't give up. Just kept going and going.
He went back and spoke to his high school this week to give them the story of Canada in his life. And I'm sure the Semi boys are here cheering on their hero, John Teal.
Barker converts. Your score is now deadlocked at 23, and I'm not sure if it's good luck or not, but joining us in the booth just as that try was scored, the new head man, so to speak, in rugby in Canada, Gareth Rees. And Gareth, welcome.
Best thing I've seen in a long while. John Teal going over. It's great stuff.
Your thoughts so far, Gareth, on the game?
Well, I was a bit disappointed with the start of that second half. It's the same thing happened last week. I'm sure you guys picked that up, but I'm really happy with the way we've been running at these guys, making the Scottish guys tackle. It's going to pay dividends in this last 15 minutes if we're fit enough to hold them off, you know, and run them around the park. But that's great stuff, building pressure there, and John Teal got the result and got the reward that he deserved.
I see Ed Nagg standing up on the bench, and he may be coming on for Danny Baugh. Danny Baugh rarely finished the game. He's had some calf trouble, and the Canadian team didn't expect Danny to finish the whole game. Danny's good, great service so far, and Ed Naggs is ready to come on, which means Ukes, Al Sharon may go to the back row.
Blair with the put-in, picks it up now. Patterson, he has pace, but tackled very nicely there by Cannon. Not going to let him get loose. Scotland, though, controls. Blair throws it to the big forwards as they push on. Patterson, you have to watch him. He's got lots of speed to burn.
Hands off, that's forward, hands off.
Scotland looking to answer right back. Hodge now out wide to Laney. Laney gets caught with the ball, but somehow it finds its way to Hodge, who's running into touch.
Canada forced a mistake. Now it's Canada's ball. Watch, I would expect Scotland to pressure for this ball. Ed Nags is at the fourth official, Mr. John DeGoody, and he's sending him in. My guess would be Danny Baugh, but we'll have to wait and see. Line out to Canada. One they must win.
Stay back.
And James does thus that. As Canada pushes forward inside their own 22. Barker.
That was a kick that Gareth Weeks would have been proud of.
That's exactly what we need. Those tired forwards out there are delighted. They just gained 60, 65 yards. Exactly what they want. Morgan Williams will be happy. His team's going forward. And it's a big chance for him, really. See him directing traffic. It's exactly what Canada needs now. Smart stuff. A great defensive spell to get them out of that. And we need our leaders to really come through. And Morgan's one of those.
Here comes the substitution now for Canada. Ed Nags coming in.
He's coming in for Ryan Banks. It looks like Ryan Banks is coming off. Ed Nags from Nova Scotia. Now you'll see nothing but straight ahead stuff from this guy as well. This guy's a hard man. He'll make his tackles. He'll do all the grinding work that's needed to be done by the tight five. And he's fresh legs.
Back come the Scots. Taylor.
Move away, tackler.
Blair finds Bullock.
Move out of it.
The Scots stepping up the tenacity a little bit here, a little more urgency, but that's trouble for them. And just cleared into space.
Greg, I want to tell you something right here. This game is going to be won by the team that plays in the other team's half. And Canada needs to play their rugby in the Scottish half. Scotland is doing this. That long kick like that, they want to play in Canada's half, force a mistake, and get the penalty.
It reminds me of playoff hockey, Gary. You get into overtime, it's the mistake that's going to cost you. You know, it's about playing the percentages, being solid. The Canadian defense has really impressed me today. They've been a lot more organized, and that's enabled them to stay in the match, and that's a positive. So you got to make sure no mistakes here.
There's a penalty against Scotland there. They're dumping the man on the ground. They can't do that. They submarine Mike James. To no avail. They didn't compete against the line. It was very surprising. They gave Mike James the ball and submarined him. Now this is a very bad mistake for the Scottish forwards. See, James goes up for the ball. Scotland goes underneath and dumps him. Now, if the Canadian props who lifted Mike James, if they were responsible, the penalty would be against Canada. So now Jared Barker has cleared the ball, but we get possession. Canada gets possession inside their half. Again, I'm saying we must play in Scotland's half.
Just looking at that touch judge flag there, Gary, and the Canadian flag blowing against the Canadians. I wonder if that'll become a factor. There's a late penalty here. Maybe Laney's got a shot to win it.
Williams now.
Move away, tackler blue.
Witkowski on the ground. Barker, Winston Stanley finally with some room to run. There goes Winston Stanley. Kicks it by his opposite number. Stanley running for the line, but Blair is there to mop up for Scotland. And he just turns and fires out.
That was the run we were waiting for by Winston Stanley. He maybe was lulling the Scotland team into a false insecurity. You see Kyle Nichols is on the field. Another replacement for Canada. Winston Stanley, little chip kick ahead. And he's just beaten to the ball. Blair's there with a nice little move and does fine touch.
Great to see
Canada is in Scotland's half, Gareth.
Yeah, sorry, big line-out drive here.
And here they come.
Meat and potatoes, straight ahead, boys.
Baugh joins the fray as Canada pushes on.
You're not listening.
It looks like Scotland might have stolen it.
Don't play it, Red. Advantage.
And out of that pack comes the Scottish player. Rod Snow picks it up. And just walk away, Rod.
Yeah. Don't want Dave McHugh doing what he did to us a couple of years ago. We need Rod on the field. He's one of our leaders. A great guy, and he's been a big part of this sort of mini revival, I think, here today, Gary. We're really happy with the way these guys have performed in a manner that Canadians can be proud. That's what we're all about.
Just under 10 minutes to go here at T-Bird Stadium. Your score, deadlocked, 23-all, Canada and Scotland the first international test between these two countries here on Canadian soil. The Scots won at Murrayfield the last time they met in an international, but this game definitely up for grabs right now. Here comes Scotland to the attack. Craig moving forward.
Play on, ball out, play on, ball.
Ball is loose.
Set him up. Move away, tackle, Red. Ball out, play on, ball out, play on.
Jacobson picks it and moves forward. Another substitution.
Pick it up, boys. Listen to the ref.
Off on blue, no one.
Yeah. Canada's weathered the storm, set scrum. Our scrummaging has been good. Look for Scotland to put some pressure on Canada if they can. Nick Wachowski actually is off the field of play, and Kyle Nichols has replaced him earlier in the game. So we've got some fresh legs out there for Canada with Ed Nags.
Sorry, Gary, I'm just wondering if some of those front row boys there you see them, if they might like arrest. It does happen a lot in international rugby. We tend to arrest our big boys. They've done their hard graft. Maybe some fresh legs up there wouldn't go amiss.
Well, we could call them the Welsh front row. The Newport, Swansea, and Bridgend represented there, but they're all Canadian.
Steady, guys. Come on, step back.
And they're doing a great job today.
Both sides, both sides, both sides.
Good job by the big five up front for Canada, too. The second rows played well.
Now, Mr. McHugh is going to make a decision on here. The referees don't like this happening.
Let's get in and hold it there before the ball comes in. Crouch and hold.
Make sure as you're leaving the venue.
Engage. We're in a bit close, guys. Step back both sides. Crouch and hold. Engage.
Williams
Stay
with
down
the put
back
in.
row, blue. Stay on back row. Stay on back row.
They control. Williams. Barker. Oh, off the side of his foot.
This is not what we need. We need the long boot. Guys got to focus. We talked about refocusing. Jared's got to refocus. Got to make those kicks. If you want to win the game, you got to get out of our half.
Oh, Johnny, you've learned a lot here. Moving on. It's exactly what he needs to do. We're not happy with that kick, but yeah, we got to get on with it. This is a clutch for for our whole summer, I think, Gary. That we gotta get this sorted out. That's a great steal there.
All stolen by Ukes. Ukes really making a difference since coming on as a substitute, especially in the lineouts for Canada. Hard to miss him with all that hair.
Hands up, tackler, hands up.
Here they come now. Stanley gets the cannon. He's got Foth outside of him, who cuts inside, knocks the ball on. And unfortunately, that opportunity goes wanting for Canada.
Back here, it's on the TJ. Went forward.
Canada playing some adventures and stuff. They move the ball out and wide. Winston Stanley to John Cano, fends off and looks inside to Sean Foth, and he, that's probably one of the first mistakes I've seen Sean Foth make in about 5 internationals. The pass was a little high, didn't catch it clearly. Set scrum, Ed Nags is being dealt with, but he's a hard man. Stephen Fletcher is the head trainer for Canada, and this may be a little rest for the Canadian players, giving those forwards, like Garrett said, giving those front row boys a bit of a rest before they get back into the trenches.
Yeah, the boys down at the Temple, the Castaway Wanderers, won't want to see Ed Nags down, but he's up, and as you say, Gary, maybe just a bit of tactics, smart rugby, keep it in control, keep the legs fresh.
Scotland with the push and put in, but Canada with the push.
We've stole the ball. We've out-scrummaged Scotland. We've turned the wheel. Set scrum, Canada.
You're allowed wheel.
We've taken the ball. Now let's get in their half.
Crouch and hold, engage.
Canadian forwards with another big push.
That's a snap wheel. That's a snap wheel.
Maybe the Scottish pack a little tired right now.
Yeah, he's called a snap wheel by Scotland. Scotland tried to do the same thing with Canada, but instead of just shoving and shifting the weight, they were pulling at the tight head side. So they turn in a counterclockwise manner, but the tight head pulls, and you can't do that. And that's what McHugh's penalizing for. And Jared has hit a good kick, and we are playing within field goal range. A little over 5 minutes left to go in the game. Canada in great position. Let's just stay here, keep the pressure on, and take the points for a first win ever against Scotland. It's possible. It's right there.
Second ball on the pitch.
Scotland, one of the 2 countries Canada hasn't beaten in the Six Nations. Ireland, the other one. They had a great tie against Ireland a few years back in Toronto. But they'd love to get the victory here against the visiting Scots. Baugh now. Barker.
Move away, tackler.
Puts it to Kyle Nichols to get his first touch.
This is offside. Here it is.
There's the penalty they were looking for, Gareth.
Now, Gareth, can you relate to this? Playing at Cardiff Stadium, playing against Wales, when you kick the winning goal, I know your dad was in the crowd. You looked to your dad. I saw the video last night again. It's one of the great moments of Canadian history. I don't know if Jared's parents are here, and there is a bit to go, but the pressure is huge.
Yeah, well, what you got to not think about, there's Kyle Nichols who won the penalty, making the half break for Canada. But there's Jared teeing it up. What you got not to think about is that crowd we just saw a shot of. You know, you put that out of your mind. Jared's got routines. He's a good young kicker. You know, he's got good stats there, 5 from 6. You just get into your routine. You put all this clapping, all this emotion the crowd's bringing to it. You put that out of your head. And, you know, I think we say this is how you pay your bills. This is how the kickers earn their right. And you get a little bit of abuse when you miss, but if these go over, you get a bit of glory, and you probably deserve it.
Has there been more pressure on this young man in his 4th international?
Barker's boot is good. He's bang on the money again. Canada's taken the lead with just over 3 minutes to go, 26-23, and it looks like another substitution coming in for Canada.
Kevin Warachowski is on the sideline, defender of Scrum Master. He'll be coming in for Rod Snow or John Teal, but Jared Barker's the hero of the moment, but Scotland will come again.
Stephen Brotherstone also running on for Scotland as they make a few substitutions for the final few minutes of this half of this game here.
Kevin Warachowski coming in for John Teal at tight head. This is the man that scores from 5 meters out every game he's in. They'll get him down there, and Kevin will get across the line.
Being replaced by number 17, Kevin
Canada pushes forward. They control the restart. Foth.
Move away, Tucker.
And Warachowski gets a touch right away. There's Barker.
9-18.
Very nicely done. Will that fine touch?
That's what you want to do. That's where you want to play rugby. You want to play rugby in Scotland's half, and pressure, 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 pressure.
Showing him maturity there. 2 touches of the ball, the kick that obviously the team needed, and that little nudge down the corner, bounce it in touch, keep the pressure on, as you say, Gary. A lot of maturity. Jared Barker's done a great job here today. Let's hope he can finish it out.
2 minutes of running time in the game. Of course, the referee is the sole judge of time, but 2 minutes to go in this game for a historic victory by Canada, and boy, have they earned this.
Move away, Red.
Nicely taken there by Hines for Scotland as the Scots are going to clear. That's a booming kick, but Winston Stanley is equal to the task, and here he comes. Stanley with a ball right back to the Scottish number 21.
It's a game of ping pong, and who wants to play, and who's half, and who wants to play where they want to play. And they're playing in Canada's half for the last 2 minutes of the game.
A little bit of indecision there from Winston. He knew he wanted to get it down there, but he just didn't execute the kick. Didn't really get it high enough to get some men under it. And the return with interest. They're inside the 22. Scotland, although we've got the throw in, Canada's got the throw in. Scotland, if they could steal, have a chance at a drop goal and maybe a shot at the line.
Canada will drive this. If Scotland does not look like they're lifting, if Canada will drive this, they are lifting, and they stole the ball.
Stolen the ball there. Brotherstone, one of the substitutions, and that's Blair out wide. Oh, knocked on by Laney. A game I'm sure Chainsaw would love to forget. He's missed some kicks, and now he drops the ball right there.
There's the long kick. And the fortuitous bounce for Canada. Winston Stanley finds the hole, and the clock is running. Can you feel the clock ticking? There's going to be a huge eruption from this crowd of nearly 6,000 people if Canada pull up this historic win. Pressure.
Here it is there.
By the chainsaw. The chainsaw, and he tries to trip the player as well. That's not on. Winston makes the outside break, bangs the ball long. Look for pressure from Canada here.
Do you think that might just be fatigue, Gareth? There's a guy with a lot of experience, but knocks the ball on there in the bad situation.
Well, I think he was looking for the tackle. I think he was looking for players coming up, because we have been hitting them today.
It's a product of the pressure. The Canadians have been doing it.
He stole the ball again.
There's some more pressure now as Canada drives forward, controlling the ball. They'd love to run this clock out. It's Dunkley straight ahead.
Hands away, Blue.
They push forward. Williams now the service out. It's Cannon. Cannon bounces, but all he sees is blue in front of him. Canada still controls.
Just hold on
Winston
to the ball.
Stanley now with Foth there in support. Rod Snow also there. There's the pass inside to Nag, the substitute.
Oh, wait.
Barker with a drop goal try, a little ambitious. It's going to come up short. DeRollo with the ball for Scotland now. Desperate times for them as they run it out. Patterson all wrapped up.
Scotland has to counterattack. Time is against them. They've got to keep the ball in the hand. They've got to break it open. I've seen it happen before when we lost to Ireland in the last play of the game in 1988 in Victoria. Come on, boys. Find touch. Play with your heart. Stay in there.
No time left on the clock, but as you said, the referee, the sole judge of time.
And a game cannot end on a penalty. Now, if Ireland...
Quick tap by Blair, and here he comes.
Scotland won't go to touch.
Nice tackle, though, by Witkowski. Nichols. There's a nice dummy, though. Scotland with a little space.
Hold on to it. Hold on to it. Set the ball.
Unfortunately, maybe some of that inexperience showing as he throws the ball away.
Here comes the counterattack.
Stanley clears. DeRollo with it.
This won't be a run. This will not be a kick. It'll definitely be a run.
Danny Baugh chasing hard to get there. A knock-on by Brotherstone.
Well, that's the second best thing I've seen today. Canada got possession.
Now watch the referee look at his watch. Here's advantage. I'm not sure if we won any advantage. I think we want
Williams to Barker. Barker just kicks it through to touch.
And
there's the final whistle. History is made here at Thunderbird Stadium as Canada knocks off Scotland for the first time in an international test.
Well, Jared Barker, the hero with the last penalty, deserves every bit of these accolades. The crowd are on their feet, the boys are on their feet, and it's great to be a part of this in any fashion, whether you're a supporter or a player. And these guys have done a great job. Congratulations.
Gareth Rees, the hero in Wales when we won in the Welsh Stadium. Jared Barker, the hero here today at Thunderbird Stadium. There's only one country left to beat, and that's Ireland.
The tradition of good young Canadian kickers continue as Canada snaps a 5-match losing streak. Excitement all on the field, and they really did make some good adjustments from last weekend to come take this game, Gareth.
Well, I think you've got to give credit to David Clark, the coach. He had faith in his team. He had faith in the wide game. He made the adjustments, and it worked out for him today. But those are the boys that win the game. David Clark will say it's on the field, it's with the heart. Yeah. All the internationals that came here to watch us and watch their players, they've come through for them today. Look at the smiles on those faces.
They stuck their chin out today, Gary, and they've been counted. You know, they got a bit of abuse last week. Ryan Banks there worked hard. They took it on the chin. They showed up. They fronted up to play, and they got in Scotland's face. And that's how we play rugby in Canada. I'm sure everyone's delighted to see it.
And bring on the Americans and mark them in 2 weeks' time. What a great preparation for that game. Colin Hughes, great game. Coming in as a substitute player. The surfer dude came through.
And how about this, after that not-so-great tour down under where Canada suffered its worst defeat, they come back and they win this all-important international test. And as you said, bring on the United States. Gareth, what's going on through their mind as they go through to the World Cup qualifying now?
Well, we said all along, that's an investment, you know, that's in those guys going down to Australia. These guys have got to not let this get out of control. Celebrate, enjoy it, enjoy the crowd, but led by Morgan Williams there behind the scrum. They've done a good job today.
Now from one kicker to another, let's go downstairs. Kevin Quinn with the man of the match.
The group that they are taking part in is the Americas group, and these are the matches leading up to the World Cup qualifying. 6 games in total.